My fiancé proposed to me. The next day I found out he had a wife and 2 kids. Hi. I don't even know where to begin. I've been crying for 3 days straight. I guess writing it all out will help me process what happened. I'm 32F, and until a week ago, I thought I was about to marry the love of my life, Andrew, 35M. We'd been together for almost 3 years. I thought I knew him. God, I thought I knew him. We met at a conference in Chicago. I was working as a project lead at a mid-sized tech company, and he was a senior systems architect from Boston. We connected over dinner during one of the networking events, exchanged contacts, and started talking more and more. He was charming, funny, incredibly attentive. The kind of guy who always opened doors, remembered little things you said, brought you your favorite coffee for no reason. We started long distance at first, but 6 months in, he relocated to my city for work, though now I wonder if that was the real reason. He moved into a condo just 15 minutes from my place. Said he wanted us to take things slow and not live together too quickly, which at the time, I respected. He traveled a lot for work, sometimes 2 weeks a month, but again, I believed him. He had a demanding job, and I trusted him completely. He never gave me a reason not to. Or so I thought. The proposal. Last Friday, he proposed. He took me to this beautiful rooftop restaurant downtown. He'd arranged everything, string lights, a private musician, even a hidden photographer. He got down on one knee and gave this speech about how I made his life complete, how I was the only one who truly understood him, how he'd been waiting for someone like me all his life. I said yes. I was shaking. Crying. Laughing. People applauded. It felt like a dream. I called my sister, my mom, my best friend. I posted a picture of the ring on Instagram. I was just so happy. If only I knew that was the beginning of the end. The message. The very next morning, I woke up to a DM on Instagram from a woman named Caitlin Harper. Hi. I know you don't know me, but I think we need to talk. About Andrew. My stomach dropped. I clicked on her profile. It was private, but her profile photo showed her holding hands with a man that looked very, very much like Andrew, though his face was partially turned. I messaged her back, still half asleep, confused. What is this about? She responded almost immediately. I'm Andrew's wife. We have 2 kids. I think you're the woman he proposed to yesterday. I'm so sorry. I didn't know until this morning when someone sent me a screenshot of your post. I stared at the message for what felt like an hour. Wife. Kids. What the actual hell? I didn't want to believe it. I refused to believe it. This had to be a mistake. A scam. A jealous ex. But then she sent photos. Photos of their wedding. Photos of Andrew holding a baby. A Christmas card with his handwriting. A video of him playing with a toddler that looked just like him. It was him. There was no denying it. The confrontation. I didn't cry. Not yet. I think I was too numb. I called him. He didn't answer. I tried again. Straight to voicemail. Then I texted, call me. Now. A few minutes later, he finally called back. Hey babe, he said, cheerful like nothing was wrong. I didn't even say hello. Just, who is Caitlin Harper? Silence. Dead, heavy silence. Then a sigh. Okay, he said. I guess you found out. That was it. No denial. No panic. Just a calm, almost resigned voice. Like he was disappointed it was over. I screamed at him. I asked how long. Why? How could you do this to me? His answer. It wasn't supposed to go this far. Like that made it better. He told me he'd been unhappy in his marriage for years. That Caitlin was more like a roommate than a partner. That they only stayed together for the kids. That I made him feel alive again. I asked why he didn't just leave her. He said it was complicated. That he was trying to sort things out. That he thought he could manage both lives for a little longer. Manage both lives. Like we were two goddamn business accounts. The fallout. I broke off the engagement immediately. I blocked him on everything. My Instagram post is gone. I told my family what happened. They were furious, but supportive. Caitlin and I talked for over 2 hours. She was heartbroken but not surprised. She said he'd cheated before. That they'd been to therapy. That she thought he'd changed. She didn't blame me, in fact, she thanked me for being honest. Turns out he kept 2 phones. Had separate travel schedules. Claimed he was in Boston when he was actually here, and vice versa. He'd built a lie so intricate, I still don't know how he kept it straight. Now. It's been a week. I still can't sleep. I still cry randomly in the car. I feel humiliated, violated, stupid. But the worst part? I still miss him. Isn't that sick? I miss the man I thought he was. The man who brought me flowers, who held me when I was anxious, who knew how I liked my tea. The man who doesn't exist. I don't know how to trust again. I don't know how I'll ever believe someone's words without wondering if there's a secret family somewhere behind the curtain. I feel broken. But writing this out helps. If anyone else has been through something similar, please tell me how you moved on. Because I want to. I need to. Thanks for reading. Update 3 weeks later, posted in comments. Thanks to everyone who messaged and supported me. I started therapy last week. Caitlin filed for divorce. I haven't heard from Andrew again. Still hurts. But I'm getting better. One tiny step at a time. It's been 6 months. A lot has changed. Some good, some painful. But I'm still here. And I think I'm finally starting to find peace. The weeks after. The first 2 months after I found out about Andrew's double life were brutal. I started going to therapy twice a week. I'd never done therapy before, and at first, I felt awkward, like I was too broken to be fixed. But my therapist, Nicole, was patient and kind and gave me the space to feel everything without judgment. I lost weight. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't focus. I almost quit my job twice. I'd stare at my screen and just disassociate. Replay things in my head. Every conversation, every hug, every "I love you," wondering which parts were lies and which parts were real. I deleted every photo of him. Took down the engagement ring listing because just seeing it made me feel nauseous. Blocked him everywhere. But somehow, he still got through. The email. About 2 months after the breakup, he sent me an email. Subject line, "I owe you the truth." I hesitated to open it. I was doing better at that point, not good, but functional. But curiosity got the better of me. The email was long. 4 pages printed out. He apologized, again. And said he knew he had no right to ask for forgiveness. He explained more of his story, how he met Caitlin young, how they got pregnant early, how he felt trapped in a life he never wanted. He said he loved me, truly, but he hated himself for the way he did it. He wrote, "I thought I could keep both worlds separate and no one would get hurt. I was wrong. I hurt everyone. I destroyed the only thing in my life that ever felt real." I didn't reply. I didn't even finish reading the last paragraph. I printed it out, ripped it in half, and burned it in the sink. Not out of drama, out of necessity. I couldn't let him keep taking space in my life. Caitlin and I stayed in touch. Surprisingly, Caitlin and I kept talking. At first, it was just to compare timelines. Trying to make sense of how he pulled off such a complicated lie. But over time, we ended up talking about other things: work, books, our kids, well, her kids, and therapy. She said something that stuck with me. He may have fooled us, but he can't keep us from healing. He doesn't get that power. She filed for divorce a week after I found out about her. She also took a new job in another city to get away from the memories. We're not exactly best friends, too much pain for that, but we check in every now and then. I respect the hell out of her. New beginnings. About 3 months ago, I met someone new. His name is Jonah. We met in the most ridiculous way. I was at a pottery class, something I started for stress relief, and I accidentally knocked over his cup of water while reaching for my tools. It spilled all over his clay sculpture. I apologized like crazy, and he just laughed and said, "Well, now I guess it's a performance piece." We got coffee after class, then started texting. He's kind. Thoughtful. A little awkward in the best way. He's the kind of guy who sends you a meme and then checks in later to ask how your meeting went, because he actually remembered. He knows everything. I told him the full story on our third date. I didn't want to lie or hide anything. I even said, "I won't be mad if you want to walk away. It's a lot." He just smiled and said, "You've already been through enough. Let's just see where this goes. We're taking it slow. No pressure. No expectations. And that's what I need." The ring. One last thing. I mentioned before that I deleted the engagement photos and tried to sell the ring but couldn't. Well, I finally did. Not just sold it, I repurposed it. I had a local jeweler melt down the metal and remake it into a pendant. It's now a simple necklace with a small sapphire at the center, my birthstone, surrounded by the repurposed gold. I wear it when I need a reminder of what I survived. It doesn't feel cursed anymore. It feels like closure. To anyone reading. If you're going through betrayal, heartbreak, or that kind of soul-crushing grief where you wonder if you'll ever breathe normally again, just know this. You will get through it. Not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But eventually. And when you do, you won't be the same person. But maybe that's okay. Maybe you'll be stronger. Wiser. A little bruised, sure, but also more real. I still cry sometimes. But now, I cry because I feel free. I didn't think I'd ever write again about this chapter of my life. I thought it was over. But something happened last week that shook me more than I expected, and I think I need to get it out of my system. This will be my final update. A year later. It's been nearly a year since Andrew proposed to me, then got exposed as a married man with 2 kids. Nearly a year since everything in my life shattered, and slowly rebuilt. I've come a long way. Jonah and I are still together. We're not rushing anything, but we recently booked a trip to Iceland together. He's the calm I never knew I needed. Steady. Safe. Real. Therapy has been life-saving. I've stopped blaming myself. I've stopped replaying the what-ifs. I still have moments, like when someone's phone rings in the middle of the night or when I see a man with 2 phones, but they pass faster now. I moved to a new apartment. Painted my walls light blue. Got a cat. Her name is Nova. She loves attacking my plants and sleeping on my face. Life started to feel normal again. Until last Saturday. The wedding. My cousin got married last weekend. Big church wedding, lots of extended family I hadn't seen in years. Jonah was with me, holding my hand through all the awkward introductions and well-meaning relatives asking, "When's your turn?" The ceremony was beautiful. The bride cried halfway through her vows. Everyone applauded when they kissed. We walked out of the church and gathered in the courtyard for photos. I went to grab a drink from the refreshment table. And that's when I saw him. Andrew. The encounter. At first, I thought I was imagining it. I froze mid-step. Time slowed. But it was him. Standing near the parking lot. Alone. No wife. No kids. He looked older. Not physically, but like something in him had wilted. He had a beard now, thinner hair, and wore a suit that didn't quite fit him right. He saw me too. For a second, we just stared. Then he started walking toward me. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd faint. Jonah noticed and stepped in front of me. "Do you know him?" he asked. I nodded. "That's him." Jonah didn't say a word. Just stood next to me like a stone wall. A silent shield. Andrew stopped a few feet away. "I didn't know you'd be here," he said quietly. "I'm not here to cause anything. I was just dropping something off for a friend inside." I didn't respond. "I saw you, and I just wanted to say, you look happy." I still didn't speak. I didn't owe him anything. Not even a reaction. He looked down, fidgeted with his sleeves. "I lost everything," he said. "Caitlin. The kids. My job. All of it. I guess I deserved it." Jonah took a step forward, but I gently touched his arm. "It's okay," I whispered. Then I looked Andrew in the eye. "You didn't just lose everything. You threw it away. On purpose." He blinked, like I'd slapped him. "I hope," I said, my voice calm but cold, "that you spend the rest of your life thinking about the people you hurt. But I also hope you get help. Because broken people break people. And I refuse to let you break me again." He looked down. I turned away. Jonah and I walked back to the reception without another word. Closure. I didn't cry. I didn't spiral. I didn't feel shattered. I felt done. And that's when I realized, this was the closure I never needed from him. Not an apology. Not an explanation. Just the chance to see him, and feel absolutely nothing. Final thoughts. To anyone reading this, especially if you're still in the middle of your own heartbreak. You won't just survive. You'll outgrow it. One day you'll hear their name and it'll sound like someone you used to know in a past life. One day you'll see them again, in person or in your mind, and instead of pain, you'll feel pity. Because you'll have rebuilt. And they'll still be living in the wreckage they made. That day will come. It came for me. Hi. This is a story I never thought I'd share, especially not anonymously online. But after reading the post from the woman my husband proposed to behind my back, yes, that post, I realized I've never truly told my side of things. I'm Caitlin. I was married to Andrew for 11 years. We have 2 kids, 6 and 9 now. And for 3 of those years, I didn't know that he was living another life with another woman. That he had an entire relationship, another home, another version of himself. This is what happened after that story ended. When she messaged me. I'll never forget the morning I woke up and saw the message in my DMs. From a stranger. "Hi. I think we need to talk. I believe you're Andrew's wife." I stared at that message for 10 minutes. My stomach turned inside out. The photo attached was of her hand, with a ring on it, the same ring I once saw in his laptop's browsing history, months earlier, when I was looking for Christmas gift ideas. I knew. Women always know. Deep down. We know when the silence is stretched too long. When the phone gets turned face down. When the work trips increase without logic. When the intimacy dies, not with a bang, but a quiet disappearance. But I didn't want to be the crazy wife. The insecure one. The jealous one. So I stayed silent. Until silence wasn't an option anymore. The day it broke. He didn't even deny it. When I confronted him, he just sat on the edge of the bed, looked at his hands, and said, it wasn't supposed to happen like this. Like it was some scheduling error. I asked him how long. He said almost 3 years. I asked him if he loved her. He didn't answer. I asked him if he ever loved me, he just started crying. That night, I slept on the couch. The next morning, I took the kids to my sister's and told her everything. He was gone by the time I came back. The fallout. I filed for divorce a week later. People asked why I was so fast. Why I didn't fight for the marriage. Because he wasn't my husband anymore. Not really. Maybe not for years. I just didn't realize I was grieving someone who had already disappeared. The kids didn't understand at first. I kept it simple. Daddy made some choices that hurt our family. He still loves you. But Mommy needs to keep us safe and strong. My son stopped asking about him after a while. My daughter cried for weeks. I held her until I cried too. Therapy, wine, and rage. I won't sugarcoat it, I went through every phase of heartbreak. Denial. Rage. Bargaining. Depression. And finally, acceptance. I screamed into pillows. Cried in the bathroom. Drank too much red wine with my best friend while yelling, I was loyal to a man who made 2 women feel special just to feel like a man. My therapist told me betrayal is trauma, not metaphorically, but neurologically. Your brain literally reprocesses reality when someone betrays your trust at that level. Some days, I felt like I was losing my mind. Other days, I felt more sane than I'd ever been. Then something surprising happened. The other woman and I stayed in touch. Not often. Not emotionally. But we'd message once every few weeks. She was never my enemy. She was a victim, same as me. One day, she sent me a photo of a necklace she made from the engagement ring he gave her. She turned it into a pendant with her birthstone. I stared at the image for a long time. Not because it hurt. But because it was beautiful. That night, I took my old wedding ring, the one I hadn't worn since the day I found out, and placed it in a drawer. A week later, I sold it. With that money, I booked myself and my kids a weekend trip to the coast. Just us. We laughed more in that weekend than we had in years. 1 year later. I'm 37 now. Divorced. Co-parenting with a man I don't love anymore and maybe never fully did. But I'm also someone I never thought I'd become, strong, self-sufficient, and surprisingly, happy. I went back to school part-time. Started writing again. Took up yoga, even though I suck at it. My kids are thriving. My daughter started therapy too, and she's doing better. And me? I still get triggered sometimes. But I also smile more now, genuinely. Not the forced, I'm fine, kind of smile. But the, I survived, kind. The last thing I'll say. To anyone reading this who's been lied to, cheated on, manipulated, or made to feel like they were crazy for trusting someone. You are not broken. You are not stupid. You are not unlovable. You were good to the wrong person. That says more about them than it ever will about you. Thank you to the stranger who unknowingly saved me by sending that message. And to the version of me from a year ago. You were terrified. But you walked away anyway. I'm so damn proud of you.